Do you ever feel trapped in a cycle where no matter how hard you work, the finish line always seems to vanish, like pushing a boulder uphill only to watch it roll back down again? Welcome to the world of Sisyphus, but also, paradoxically, to the world where we can find profound meaning. Today we're diving into Albert Camus' exploration of life's absurdity. Have you ever felt like your daily grind is eerily similar to Sisyphus's fate? Camus would say, "Welcome to the human condition." In this video, we'll unpack the myth of Sisyphus, delve into Camus' philosophy of the absurd, and discover how we might carve out meaning in what seems purposeless. By the end, you might just see your own struggles and even life itself in a new light. Let's start with Sisyphus. In ancient Greek mythology, he was condemned by the gods to an eternity of futile labor. His punishment? To push a massive boulder up a hill only to watch it tumble back down just as he reached the top, and then start all over again. It's the perfect metaphor for human existence, isn't it? We work, we strive, and yet, at the end of the day, we often wonder, what do we have to show for it? It feels endless, repetitive, and sometimes even pointless. But what if this myth isn't just about punishment? What if it's about something deeper, the human condition itself? Each of us has our own boulder. For some, it's the relentless grind of a 9-to-5 job. For others, it's the daily effort of nurturing relationships, caring for family, or battling personal challenges like anxiety or self-doubt. These struggles define our lives, yet they often leave us asking, is this all there is? Camus, however, saw something revolutionary in this myth. He didn't view it as a mere lesson in futility, but as a profound truth about existence. Sisyphus's story reveals a core paradox of life. It is both endlessly absurd and yet undeniably ours to own. Now let's dive into Camus' philosophy of the absurd. Camus introduces us to this concept as the clash between two opposing forces, our deep desire for meaning and the universe's indifferent silence. Humans are meaning seekers by nature. We want our lives to matter, our efforts to count, and our struggles to lead somewhere, but the universe, it offers no inherent purpose, no clear answers. It simply is. And that disconnect, the tension between our yearning and the world's indifference, is what Camus calls the absurd. At this crossroads, Camus asks the most fundamental question: should we go on living? If life has no inherent meaning, should we give up? Some might answer this question by denying the absurd altogether, inventing meaning through religion or ideology, what Camus calls philosophical suicide. Others might succumb to despair and choose physical suicide, but Camus rejects both options. Instead, he advocates for something radical, to face the absurd head-on, to acknowledge its existence without flinching. This, he says, is the first step towards an authentic life. In embracing the absurd, Camus argues, we are freed. By accepting life's lack of inherent meaning, we stop being bound by the need for external validation or cosmic purpose. We become liberated to create our own meanings, to live fully and passionately, despite life's futility. The absurd, then, isn't a barrier to living, it's a catalyst. It challenges us to rethink how we interact with the world, not by seeking grand, eternal purposes, but by choosing to live in revolt against the absurdity itself. This brings us to the most practical and uplifting part of Camus' philosophy, the idea of revolt. For Camus, revolt means continuing to push your boulder, fully aware it will roll back down. It's an act of defiance, a refusal to surrender to despair. But how do we revolt? How do we find joy in the struggle? Camus suggests that we do so by engaging in what we love, by creating, exploring, and fully immersing ourselves in life. Whether it's art, science, love, or activism, we rebel by giving meaning to our actions, even if that meaning is temporary. Take the artist, for example, who paints knowing that their work may one day fade, or the activist who fights for change even when the odds seem stacked against them. These acts may not alter the grand course of the universe, but they matter in the moment. They are victories over the absurd. Camus' philosophy isn't about finding some grand universal purpose. It's about finding joy in the act of living itself. Imagine Sisyphus pushing his boulder, not begrudgingly, but with a quiet, unshakable determination. In that moment, he reclaims his fate. The struggle becomes his. Each of us can do the same. We find purpose not in reaching the top of the hill, but in the climb itself. By choosing to live fully, by savoring the small victories, the moments of connection, and the passions that light us up, we create meaning where none existed before. Let's take a moment to reflect. What's your boulder? Is it the daily grind of work, the effort it takes to care for others or maintain a sense of balance? Maybe it's a creative project, a relationship, or even the struggle to understand yourself. Whatever it is, Camus reminds us that meaning isn't found in avoiding the struggle, but in embracing it. The act of pushing your boulder, of showing up every day, of engaging with life on your own terms, is where you'll find freedom and joy. Consider this. When you immerse yourself in something you love, time seems to disappear. Whether you're painting, writing, hiking, or simply laughing with friends, those moments are your revolt against the absurd. They are your acts of creation, your declarations that life is worth living. This isn't to say the absurd disappears, it doesn't. But by choosing to live fully in the face of it, we shift the narrative. We stop seeing life's struggles as punishments and start seeing them as opportunities to express our defiance, our creativity, and our humanity. And so we return to Sisyphus. At the end of his essay, Camus offers a striking image. Sisyphus, standing at the base of the hill, watching his boulder roll back down. He knows his fate, he knows the struggle will never end. And yet, in this moment of awareness, Camus imagines Sisyphus smiling. We must imagine Sisyphus happy. This isn't about ignoring life's absurdity, it's about embracing it, about finding our own path to meaning through our actions, our creativity, and our love. It's about owning the struggle, making it ours, and finding joy in the climb. So what's your boulder? How do you find meaning in the act of pushing it? I want to hear from you. What's your take on Camus' philosophy of the absurd? Do you see parallels in your own life? How do you create meaning in the face of life's challenges? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're intrigued by these ideas, I highly recommend reading The Myth of Sisyphus. It's a short but profound work that might just change the way you see the world. Until next time, embrace the climb, revel in the struggle, and remember, the joy isn't in reaching the summit, it's in the journey. Keep pushing, keep living, and keep finding your own joy in the absurdity of life.